People often ask me for tips for getting over art block. And honestly, I could never relate because back when I was studying, I felt like I had loads of art ideas and I was always inspired, but I just didn't have the time to do artwork. And same with work. It was like my full-time job just seemed to get in the way. But some of you guys may know I recently quit my engineering job to be a full-time artist. And theoretically, all of these excuses should be thrown out the window. Yet I've been struggling to create art. So today I'm going to talk about art block, some of the issues I faced, and how I'm planning to overcome. I also asked on my Instagram to see if you guys can relate, and it looks like we're all in the same boat. So I'll share some of your tips on how you've overcome at the end. Hey people, it's Temi if you're new here, and it's Tuesday today, so you already know it's time for a Temi's Tirade. This is a series on my channel where I just come to rant about art things on Tuesdays. And today, you already know we're talking about art block, so I guess I should start with the definition. For me, it's just anything, any barrier that stops you from creating art. Just like writers have writer's block. Those days that you feel like you've hit a wall, you don't know what to draw, you don't know what to paint, you feel like you have no motivation, no inspiration. It's kind of describing those low moments when it comes to creativity. And I guess I should start with creativity isn't this linear chart that just keeps going higher and higher and higher. And the more you do art, the more you feel creative, the more you feel motivated. That's not how it works. In fact, it follows more of this zigzag up and down. Some days you're feeling inspired. Some days you're feeling like you're the worst artist in the world. Some days you're feeling like everybody would love this. I'm learning so much. And some other days you're just thinking, what is this? And coming back to the word motivation, that's the first barrier I want to touch on. It's interesting that when we come to creating, we always use the word, I'm not feeling motivated. I'm not feeling motivated. But how many things in this world do we have to do despite no feeling of motivation? For example, if you've got a job, you go to work not because you're feeling motivated to work. Maybe you're one of those employees, good on you. But for the majority of the time, you're probably not feeling that motivation. Yet you go to work because you need to go to work. For me, with cleaning my house, I barely have the motivation to do so. But I know that daily I need to do this. Once a week I need to do that. I'm mopping my floor because it needs a mop, not because I'm just like, ooh, I can't wait to mop my floor today. Or even like last week, my MOT was due. So if you're not in the UK, an MOT is kind of like a yearly service check for your car. My MOT was due. So guess what? I took my car to the garage, not because I felt motivation to take it to the garage. It's because I needed to. So with art, I think it's interesting that we lean on, oh, I don't have motivation to do so. And I know motivation kind of changes how we feel about the work. So I'm not discrediting that because I know that if you're not really feeling that motivated and you force yourself to do the work, you might not be happy with the outcome. And that's completely fair. But I feel like we just need to get out of our heads. No one actually needs to see the art that you're producing. You don't need to share it on social media. You don't even need to share it with anyone else in your house. Do a sketch, a doodle. It does not have to be a masterpiece. Just try to be more disciplined. Get out of the mindset of I'm waiting to feel motivated before I can actually do it. Because just like so many things in this world, you do it because you need to do it. Do it because you want to practice. Do it because you want to be creative. And don't hold on to I'm not feeling motivated, so I'm not going to do it. The second thing I want to address is actually on the other end of the spectrum. It's wanting to do too much so you're actually feeling paralyzed. Do you know that feeling of overwhelm of, oh my gosh, where do I actually begin? And I personally started to feel like this. I've got a long list of video ideas. I've got a long list of arty things I want to do. I just bought a new house. I want to fill it with my artwork. By the way, I have a second channel where I have more house related content. So check it out if you want to see that. It's just Temi Danso. But yeah, I've got so many ideas, so many things on my list. I just got a new iPad. I want to try digital art. I'm in the process of this diamond painting that I thought I could finish in 24 hours, but spoiler alert, I'm 7 hours in and I haven't even made a dent in this painting. I've got some mystery boxes of art supplies. I don't even know what's in there, but I'm excited to dig in to do some art. My gouache paint! You guys know my gouache paint is still drying away. I want to practice some gouache painting. And even back to my color pencil drawings. You know, color pencil is my first love. I want to keep doing more drawings. I want to keep doing more tutorials for you guys. And I'm sure if you struggle with motivation or inspiration, hear me list all these ideas. You're thinking, how can you have art block? But the reality is that intense feeling of overwhelm is real. Where do I start? It feels like there will never be enough hours in the day to do everything I'm trying to do. So I just do nothing at all. So for me, those are the two main things that have made me struggle with art block. But for you, you might relate to other things. So let me know down in the comments some of the things that you've struggled with. Some of the things you might relate to are feelings of self-doubt, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you're never going to improve. But the reality is with consistent and intentional practice, you will. I coined the term productive practice. It's when you're actually focusing on improvement points and not just drawing to draw. So just remove the pressure off of each painting. Don't compare what you're doing to what your favorite artist is doing. Just focus on your own lane. Another thing that might be causing your art block is mental or physical exhaustion. You might have other priorities like work or school or family. It could really weigh on how you're feeling around creating your art. If your mind is stressed, it's not surprising that you might be struggling to be creative. So it's important to put yourself first and take time to take care of yourself. Now I'll just go through some solutions that have helped me personally and some of the things that I want to do more of, because this is an ongoing process. You can't just snap your fingers and ooh, art block gone. If only it was that easy. The first and most important one for me is to take guilt-free breaks. The key here is guilt-free, because I don't know if any of you guys can relate, but if I'm taking unprovoked breaks that I did not plan for, I'm stressing while procrastinating, that's not making me feel good. I'm even feeling more stressed. I'm feeling so guilty about the work I should be doing, the art I should be creating. Especially now that it's my job. It's like, sis, if you don't make the art, then I don't know for you. So this guilt-free break is all about recognizing that you're feeling creatively slumped, and that's fair. Everyone goes through it. But now is the time to recharge your creativity. And really, this is a message to myself. It is okay to take breaks. And I'm sure some of my friends watching will be thinking, can you take your own advice? Some of the things that you can do is just to do non-art related things. Do anything else that you enjoy. If you like playing video games, if you like going for walks, if you like cooking, do all of that. Listen to podcasts, listen to music, read. Just try to focus less on art and less on consuming art and more on what makes you feel like you. I'm not saying do this forever. I'm just saying it's important to acknowledge these breaks and to do it guilt-free. The key here is not to give yourself a hard time about how productive you're not being, but it's rather for you to recognize that your body is probably telling you to chill, relax, recharge, and then come back stronger. So second solution is just to remove the pressure. This is such a great one because I don't know about you, and let me know if you can relate down in the comments, but each art piece you're doing, it feels like it needs to be better than the last one. You need to be improving. If there's no change from January 2021 to December 2021, what have you been doing? Of course, it's great to see improvement, but it doesn't have to be massive changes from one art piece to the next. It's more small incremental changes that will add up to this compounding effect, so that when you look back on your work from last year, you really see the big strides that you've made. But from piece to piece, you might not even notice it. So in that sense, remove the pressure that each piece has to be 1,000,000 times better than the last piece. Guess what? Every single piece of artwork does not need to be a masterpiece. At this removing the pressure stage, it's also a great time to revisit the fundamentals, follow a tutorial exactly, or even go and use some art supplies that you don't normally use. If you're using color pencils like me, pick up some paint, even pick up clay, do some pottery, just anything to get you creating again without the pressure of perfection. And if you're familiar with my channel, you already know that I say perfectionism is a myth. You can't come and die because of creating art. And the third one is don't wait for the motivation to find you. Push yourself. Like I mentioned earlier, we do so many things in this life, not because we're feeling exactly motivated to, but because we need to. So set goals and make habits. Try to draw once a week. Do as much art as you can, but don't wait to feel the motivation. Just grab a sketchbook and just do some sketching, do some doodling, grab your iPad and Apple Pencil, draw some squiggly lines, fill in the shapes, anything to get you back creating. Even down to grabbing a coloring book. At least you don't have the pressure of getting the perfect sketch or perfect lines. But if you see my coloring book videos, you know you can still create a masterpiece with it. And all of these points just work in conjunction. It'll be a lot easier to push yourself and not wait for motivation when you've relieved the pressure. If you've taken time to recharge and rest, you're going to be in a much better mindset. For me, I work best with tight deadlines. So what is helping me is to set myself an arbitrary deadline. Even if it's something that feels unrealistic, at least it will get me back in the flow because I know that I need to do it by a certain point. So yeah, now I'll share some of the things that you guys have spoken about on Instagram. Rest, give yourself time, museum visit. I love that. Just to get yourself back inspired, look at what other artists are doing. Just keep drawing every day regardless. Keeping that flow allowed me to keep motivation. I overcame it by working on my drawing skills, like practicing drawing animals, bodies, and colors. Exactly what I was saying about going back to the fundamentals. Scroll through Pinterest. I tried art challenges. This is something I did not touch on, but it's a great way to just get back motivated, try something outside the box, use a random word generator, just try things that will get you back creating. Gave up. I hope this video helps you. Leaving the house, YouTube for inspiration, doing something in a different creative media. I love how we're on the same page. A break. I watched artists that inspired me, and also I just painted anything. I looked for inspiration or drew something really simple that I've drawn before. I love this one because you can almost guarantee because you've drawn it before, you can do it. With each piece, we're trying to challenge ourselves. But if you've got art block and you're struggling to draw, why don't you revisit something you've drawn before? You're probably even going to see improvements, but remove that pressure and just do it to do it. I just kept to making stuff, even if it sucked, it seemed to help just to make anything for a while. And I love that. Again, with the removing pressure, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece, just create to create. Watching people like you, I also found inspiration watching people's process. So that really helps me to get back inspired. But I know for some people it can bring up this comparison thing, so only do it if it actually works for you. So those are just a few of the great ideas. I shared a lot of them on my Instagram and I've saved it as a highlight. So no matter when you find this video, you can head over to my Instagram and just look at what other people are saying has helped them. And hopefully it helps you too. But let me know in the comments what are a few things that have helped you. And I'm sure you like this video next where I speak about 5 things I wish I knew as a young artist.